Gentlemen, why is it that most of the presidents that have been elected in Kenya work with Raila Amolo Odinga, but when Raila Amolo Odinga vies for presidency, Kenyans reject him? Raila actually made his last shot, we believe, in 2022, where he was defeated by over 250, slightly above 250,000 votes. That was the last rejection that Raila Amolo Odinga was getting as a presidential candidate. But miraculously, we found that the president that Raila had been going with as an opponent in every election, we find that Raila is still going to work with this person. Why is it so? Now, let me take you through a brief history about Raila Amolo Odinga. In all the governments that he has served, Raila Amolo Odinga had always left a track record that I believe if Kenyans have been electing leaders based on track record, he deserved to win. To begin with, when he was working with Kibaki, that's when he had huge amounts of time and space to exploit his talent, his ability to perform in the country. During that time, we saw serious infrastructural developments in the country, and actually amongst them all that every president, every time he talks about, is the Thika superhighway that he ensured that had been constructed well. Another one is the Nairobi bypasses that he actually came up with. Actually says he came up with a plan, which of course were constructed by President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Now, he talks of many other projects in the country, and actually apart from that, Raila Amolo Odinga championed for the new constitution that was promulgated in 2010. As a result of him and other leaders who worked together, we can now see having governors, MCAs, senators, all of these are geared towards ensuring this development back in the grassroots. But still, despite of all these massive achievements, Raila has always been rejected in the ballot by majority of Kenyans, because actually, despite controlling almost half of the country, majority of Kenyans go ahead to reject him in the ballot. Why is it so? Now, Raila Amolo Odinga actually is hated by leaders, some leaders, and as much as some of the same capacity love him. So therefore, Raila Amolo Odinga does not really enjoy full hatred. He enjoys full love and half hatred. Now, if you check closely from the history of Raila Amolo Odinga, first of all, Raila Amolo Odinga worked with Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. Despite that, I don't have the full evidence about how things happened during that time because of my age. Raila Amolo Odinga was close with Moi Kibaki, Arap Moi, and during that time, he even served as a Secretary General of KANU. He joined the government, and during that time, Moi was able to survive because of the opposition he was getting from very powerful leaders from the country, in the country at that time. Now, Raila Amolo Odinga went ahead to work with Kibaki. Despite being a potential presidential candidate in 2002, he put his ambitions aside and he said Kibaki tosha. He supported Kibaki during his time, and actually during that time, Kibaki needed him because Kibaki at that time he was involved in an accident, and therefore he could not campaign well in the country. Raila held the mantle, campaigned very well in the country, and actually Kibaki won by a landslide. Raila was able to convince some other leaders to work with him and give Kibaki the victory and take it from none other than Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. Moi during that time he didn't vie in 2002, but he had a candidate that he supported. That was Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Going forward, in 2013, Raila was a serious opponent to President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Actually, before Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, we had Kibaki himself. During that time of Kibaki, they had some agreements that they had made, but Kibaki rejected the agreements. He went against them that they had signed, and therefore it resulted to him and Raila Amolo Odinga becoming antagonists. We had a referendum where Raila Amolo Odinga defeated Kibaki, and as a result, we had now the new constitution coming up. Now, despite the opposition between him and Raila Amolo Odinga, between Raila Amolo Odinga and Kibaki, we had Kibaki being defeated in 2002, but despite the defeat, Kibaki was able to remain in power because we had, through some ways, we had Kibaki remaining in power as the president, and of course we had serious consequences, that is the post-election violence, where most Kenyans, more than 1,000 people, lost their lives. Raila put his ambitions aside again and decided to join Kibaki in the form of a coalition government. And in this coalition government, this is the time we had massive development projects, serious improvement in the infrastructure in the country, serious improvement of our economy, and actually people say that's when Kibaki achieved what we call a legacy in Kenya. Now, when we talk all this, Raila has been selfless to some extent, and we have to accept that as Kenyans. So he sacrificed his ambitions at some point to support others and ensure this development in the country. That is what we call being a patriot and saying Kenya first. Now, after Kibaki, despite the support and massive achievements they made during the second term of Kibaki, Kibaki still did not support Raila Amolo Odinga. He pretended to be silent about that, but everyone knew he supported Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and of course William Samoei Arap Ruto. Now in 2013, Raila went against Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and of course William Samoei Ruto. Now during this time, we had William Ruto and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta defeating Raila Amolo Odinga and Kalonzo, despite both of them, that is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Ruto, being convicts of the ICC. Still, Kenyans rejected him, that is Raila Amolo Odinga, despite the track record that he has made from the previous regime of Mwai Kibaki. Now, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is the one person who really became a serious competitor of Raila Amolo Odinga. This is the time Raila Amolo Odinga was branded as a madman, of course, and many other names that I can't quote on this channel today here. Most Kenyans actually in the country bought this idea that Raila Amolo Odinga was even a mchawi. Serious contest came during that time, and Ruto defeated him in 2013. He just confirmed again in 2017, and of course, despite the allegations that the elections were stolen in both times, that is in 2013 and also in 2017. 2017, of course, we had the nullification because of some irregularities, but of course, it is clear that now later on, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was bestowed as the president of Kenya. Now, that is another rejection that Raila Amolo Odinga experienced. Raila Amolo Odinga stayed in the opposition. Being in the opposition, there was serious contest, of course, in 2017. But coming in 2018, that is now the second term of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, after they had seriously fought for the presidency, they had a handshake, where Raila is very clear that President Kenyatta called him so that they can sit and forge the way forward for the country. For me, that was just a talk for Uhuru Kenyatta to remain in power, to rule for his first 5 years tenure, and actually, personally, I can confirm that on another video. Now, during this time, Uhuru Kenyatta had so many challenges. There are rumors going on, and actually even some were factual, that Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto differed before even the 2017 elections. So therefore, he knew very well, based on the strength of William Ruto, he was going to get it rough when it comes to 2017 all the way to 2022. And probably could not have gotten time to perform well the way he wanted to do in the country, even to run government, perhaps even to loot. Now, during this time, Raila was called by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and then Raila heeded to his call, joined him, and of course they ran the government together. During that time, Raila of course went to the political aspect, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta went to the managerial part of the country, the governance aspect on that case. Now, despite being a serious antagonist of Raila Amolo Odinga, we find in this case that still Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta called him to come and work with him. What did he come to do? To save him. Going forward, William Samoei Ruto came in. And at that time, when they were going again, he was going against Raila Amolo Odinga, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta supported him. But during this time, we realized that still, William Ruto was was seriously against the handshake that they had with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in 2018. And therefore, he kept on promising Kenyans that if he wins elections, he was not going to engage in any form of handshake because he had seen the kind of damage it can cause the country. Because of course there were so many bad experiences during Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's time while in a handshake with Raila Amolo Odinga, that's including the high cost of living. Now, considering that kind of a sentiment William Ruto made, come in 2022, not just 2 years down the line, right now as we speak, William Ruto is working with Raila Amolo Odinga in the government. They had a secret handshake that later on came out, particularly after the Gen Zs and millennials came out on the streets to campaign against to protest against William Ruto. And of course, as a result of Gachagua coming out now to be against William Ruto, now Raila Amolo Odinga's handshake with William Ruto came clear because we realized during the nomination, the second nomination, William Ruto's batch of government, after dissolving the cabinet, we realized that now the people, the top leadership of ODM, who are close allies of Raila Amolo Odinga, were all nominated to serve in the government of William Samoei Ruto. This was against the words that William Ruto used himself when he was campaigning and even after joining government. This was actually even more emphasized by Rigathi Gachagua himself, who said he will ensure that Raila Amolo Odinga is not close at all to State House. But as we speak right now, Raila is in government. Then now I ask myself this question: why is it that Raila Amolo Odinga has to work with our president? Is it the massive development we want to experience in the country? Is it friendship? Or what is it? In this video here today, I came up with a simple conclusion about Raila Amolo Odinga. He is the president's savior. When Kibaki needed to win the election, he called Raila Amolo Odinga. When Kibaki wanted to run the government in the second term, he called Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga actually came in as in the form of a coalition government. When Uhuru Kenyatta was losing the country, he called Raila Amolo Odinga. And Raila Amolo Odinga actually saved him because Uhuru Kenyatta was successfully able to run the government in his second term. When William Ruto was almost going home from the Ziza millennial protest, and also Rigathi Gachagwa's building of opposition, Raila Amolo Odinga came in once again to rescue to rescue William Samoei Arap Ruto. And therefore, the conclusion I made is that Raila Amolo Odinga is the president's savior. If you have an alternative opinion, kindly let me see it on my comment section, and kindly make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, because that's the best support you can always give this channel. My name is Abel Mokwa. See you next time for other videos.